Welcome to Daily with Doc and Becca. This program is for educational purposes only. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual sharing their testimony. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have the founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Daily with Doc and Becca. My name is Becca Dukes. I am the host and producer of this show. Let's go ahead and open up that waiting room. Let people in, as folks, we are in for a great show. Again, my name is Becca Dukes. I'm a certified holistic health coach. I'm also a certified naturopathic practitioner and the director of student services for the Institute of Holistic Health. And you are watching a resource for an amazing community where we are empowering others to look at themselves, analyze what's going on in your body, especially if you've gone through all the tests and they said they can't find anything wrong. Probably because they're not looking at the nutritional side, which is what we look at, folks. And we look at the body as a whole, not just where it hurts. Well, today's episode is one that you don't want to miss, as our topic is Tangy Tangerine, is your vitamin C real? The ascorbic acid debate. And joining me is somebody that I'm so excited to have back on the show, Richard Renton, lovingly known as Dr. Dirt. He is a formulator behind many of the longevity products that we love so much, including the legendary Beyond Tangy Tangerine. Richard is a master formulator, educator, and expert in nutritional biochemistry. His passion is helping people understand the science behind supplementation and how to separate fact from fiction. So, folks, if you've been wondering about vitamin C, because there's so many different types and forms, you're in the right place today, as today we are going to dive into the world of vitamin C and what makes it, quote unquote, real. So grab your pen and paper, get ready. If you are here live with us, make sure that you have that chat open, as Marilyn does a fantastic job with dictation and putting what is being spoken into text so that you can easily do screenshots or write it down, because she can definitely type faster than anyone I know can hear. So thank you, Marilyn, for all that you do. And folks, if you're on the live stream or watching one of our broadcasts, whether it's live or not, and you would like to join us live, we are on Zoom Wednesday, Thursday, Friday from 12 to 1 p.m. Pacific, 1 to 2 Mountain, 2 to 3 Central, 3 to 4 Eastern, that's in the States. And if you're in South Africa or in England, it is 9 to 10 p.m. this time of year. Go to zoom.dailywithdoc.com, which is how you can currently access the live Zoom during that time. And if you'd like to continue to be a part of our studio audience, make sure that you go and send us an email. Zoom at dailywithdoc.com to be put on the list and receive your special invitation, as we are going to be going by invitation only soon here on the Daily with Doc show. Well, without further ado, Richard, welcome back to Daily with Doc. Thank you so much for all the time that you just spend with us, because, you know, you're pretty important. You've got a wealth of knowledge in that brain of yours. And I love the fact that you still want to share it.
Well, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. And to be honest with everyone on the call today, I almost forgot about you guys. So it was busy, busy, busy. I'm going to go on holiday for about a month here in a little bit. And so we're trying to get all the loose ends tied up. But I need to be here and I need to be here with you guys. And so I was asked to talk about some things and answer questions and things like that. So we're going to have some fun. Um, so to give you a little bit of longevity history, when it was American Longevity, we started out with 4 liquids. The first liquid was a plant-derived minerals, and we've talked about that before. And then when you add some herbs to it, it's called herbal rainforest. And that was the second one. Then Doc had us work on our first liquid multivitamin. And he literally gave me a list and said, you need to mix this all together, but I'm really not sure how you're going to do it, but this is what I want. And that product ended up being Ultimate Classic. And it is a challenge making an Ultimate Classic. I know several companies have tried to duplicate it, but to give you a little inside story, if you don't mix the nutrients in the right order, it gases. In other words, it expands in gases. And what was happening is the bottles were blowing up. And so, or they would push out at the bottom. And if you have someone that's in my age bracket and they see a bottle where it's pushed out, we think of canned goods and botulism, and we go, oh no, we can't take this. And it was just gassing. And so we worked on the formula. We figured out how to make it effectively. I worked with some other chemists down in Vista, California, and we figured out how to do it. It's kind of like a cake recipe. You have to put the dry ingredients a certain way, in the way, well, you just think of it as nutritional chemicals. You have to put the herbs in a certain spot and the amino acids in a certain spot and things like that. And so we've developed that. And to this day, I don't think there's a more complete multivitamin liquid. It does have its drawbacks. Back in the old days, Doc didn't think flavor made a difference. And so I put a little bit of orange in it and I put a little bit of tangerine in it, but that was about it. And we really never really changed the taste profile that much. And unless you're a real serious nutritional person, you may not appreciate the flavor of Ultimate Classic. But considering that it has a full serving of plant-derived minerals, considering it has over 90 other nutrients in it as well, and including 600 milligrams of calcium, it really is a special product. And we have been selling it now for almost 30 years. And so it's one of our top 5 sellers. And I can tell you the Wallach family, that's the one they drink. And that's just because the kids learn to drink at a young age. And with a lot of people, taste is a learned experience. And so if they're used to it from when they were little, they're used to it now, and they continue taking. With feedback with the distributors, which is a lot of the times how we figure out that we need to improve, change, or come out with another product, we realized that flavor was a little more important. And so we came out with a product called Tangy Tangerine Liquid. And I want to say it was about a year after Classic came out. And we put in more flavoring so that it was more palatable. And we tweaked a little bit on the ingredients. It still has 87 out of the 90 essential nutrients in it. It doesn't have essential fatty acids. For some reason, fish oil just doesn't taste good in liquids when you drink it. So we take a step back on that. And so that's the essential fatty acids that we put in there. And so that being said, it came out and became more popular than Classic for a short period of time. So Steve Wallach made it into paks. And all the paks base. I know Rebecca wants to put her finger up. She's got a question already. I'll finish this and I'll let you ask your question. With that, he came out with Tangy Tangerine plant-derived minerals plus EFAs to make the 90 for life pack. Go ahead, Becca.
Okay, so in the Ultimate Classic, there are essential fatty acids.
No, it doesn't
Okay.
have it as well. I'm sorry, I
Okay.
misspoke on that one. It also, if you think bad, it tastes bad now. Pour yourself an ounce and put in, a teaspoon of cod liver oil and tell me what you think. Politely, please. So that being said, that's how those liquids came about. Now we started Longevity in 1996. I have to cheat because I have the date on the wall behind me, and we've had those liquids since then. And I would say there's probably been 15 to 20 companies that have tried to come out with it. And most of them have given up. There's a new guy on the block that I see on Facebook all the time now that says they have it. But if you really look at their formula, it only has 5 or 6 ingredients in it, which is a heck of a lot easier. Have we thought about adding different things to it? Yes, but we got a good thing going, so why change it? So I think we're going to continue with those formulas for an extended period of time. The other drawback that the liquids have is each bottle weighs about 2.5 pounds. And as we try to take care of our customers in Australia and New Zealand, South Africa, Canada, and all that, we realized that shipping became an issue. And just shipping this product was more of a challenge. Plus, it's a little more heat sensitive. In other words, if it gets really, really hot, it oxidizes a little faster. And so the powders came about to overcome those challenges because the majority of the weight is water in all of those products. And so if we can come out with something that you add the water afterwards and it's able to mix, it drops from 2.5 pounds to 0.5 pound, or if you're in Europe or South Africa, 0.5 kilo and quarter of a kilo, and it works out more effectively. And so that was a 4-year process to develop how to spin dry all the moisture out without creating extra heat designed to damage the vitamins. And that's how we came about. And then we've had the original, which I call 1.0 or blue lid. And then 2.0 is orange lid. 2.5 is yellow lid. And Rise and Restore is the 2 package. Each one has their own advantage. The main reason why 2.0 came out, to be honest with all of you, is that 1.0 had strawberries in it. And we found out a lot of people had allergies to strawberries. And so we took out some of the fruit, left the vegetables, and then we added mushrooms to make a stronger antioxidant. And we added that to the formula and it became out popular. Then we found out a way to increase the ORAC score. If you don't know what that is, that means oxygen radical absorption capacity, or the ability of a nutritional product to help eliminate free radicals within your body. And then 3.0, we figured out that if we can, is train our customers the right answer? If we can convince our customers that spreading out your nutritional value, having one in the morning and one in the evening, we could highlight, and the vitamins that are better to take in the morning, we could put in a package, and the vitamins that work better in the evening, we could put in a different package, and that we developed. So that's how Rise and Restore happens, which is 3.0 in my book. And is it possible that we'll come out with a 4.0? Sure, why not? We have 4 different EFA products, and so I can see us growing that. And so that's kind of the history and the story of the early liquids and the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, first being a liquid, then moving to a powder. Can we fit it all in the tablets? Yes, but your dose would probably be between 7 and 8 a day. And most people already have a problem with problems. Personally, I don't. I eat over 30 pills a day, but that's beside the fact, as well as I still take the powders. But a lot of people, for the convenience, they don't want to do that. Is Tangy Tangerine 2.0 plus EFA a good travel combination? Absolutely. And I encourage everyone to do that, because sometimes putting, and I've learned this the hard way, a quart liquid in your suitcase, even though you check it in, with the change of pressure, sometimes the caps blow off and really doesn't do good to your clothes. And so I encourage that you kind of go to a tablet form when you travel. However, Doc doesn't. When he was on the road, he always took his liquids, but I think he learned to put it in Ziploc bags to prevent it from exploding inside his suitcase and ruining his famous ties that he wears on a regular basis, whether it's the American flag or the pigs. So there we go with that. It kind of gives you a story. The other thing I wanted to talk a little bit about is vitamin C. And vitamin C is probably one of my favorite vitamins. Vitamin C, if you go to the original Bible of chemistry, which is what's called how do I do this?
Put it right in front of you. Put it right in front of you. Right
Merck
there.
Index. And there, it's not a small book. And if you put it in there and you look up ascorbic acid, which is in here in very fine small print, you'll see that it says vitamin C. And in the back half, if you look up vitamin C, it says ascorbic acid. So true vitamin C is ascorbic acid. No ifs, ands, and buts. However, you can add lots of things to it. You can bind it by a chemical procedure and bind other things to it. And then ascorbate becomes a whole new word. And there's potassium ascorbate, magnesium ascorbate, and all those types of things. Or you could just blend. And a lot of people talk about buffered C. And what buffered C is when you add, typically it's calcium to ascorbic acid, and one is acidic and one is alkaline, and it doesn't irritate stomachs as much, but that's all it does. So can we say that in Beyond Tangy Tangerine or Liquid Tangy Tangerine, is it buffered C? Yes, because we have lots of minerals in there that are alkaline as well as the acidity of vitamin C. So that buffers it so that you don't have that reaction. Now, there's lots of people that have studied vitamin C over the years. Probably the most famous individual, Doc's known as the mineral doctor. The vitamin C doctor is known as a PhD chemist by the name of Linus Pauling. And Linus Pauling was a professor emeritus at Oregon State University and won 2 Nobel Prizes. Neither one was on vitamin C, by the way, which I found unusual, but ascorbic acid was his main study. And he talked about certain amounts that people should take. And I always like to talk about it. So when we go to RDA, which is what our government has, that's the minimum amount to prevent you from catching scurvy. And scurvy is probably one of the most nasty things that you can get. British sailors and Spanish sailors always found out about it because they would go on long trips, would never eat fruit, and they become deficient in vitamin C, and they would get scurvy. And they figured out if they somehow were managed to put oranges and whatnot on their boats for the long trips and was able to have them eat an orange a day, they wouldn't have scurvy. And so the typical amount when you look at it for men is 90 milligrams, and for women is 75 milligrams. And that's the absolute minimum. And that's whether you take it by a dietary supplement or food. There's lots of good fruits and vegetables that you can get it from. There's also Brussels sprouts is a good source, for example, oranges. Linus Pauling feels that an absolute minimum that an individual should take is 1,000 milligrams a day, which is a significantly larger amount. And the reason why he talked about that is his research showed, and we'll talk about all the benefits of vitamin C in just a little bit, that if you want to see the benefits of vitamin C, you need to charge your system like that. Then, as I mentioned the last time I was on, there's a book that has all the vitamins, minerals, and it talks about all the research, and it talks about upper tolerable limits. And we talked about upper tolerable limits being that they start looking where people start to have the side effects of too much vitamin C, and they document where that number starts. And in this particular case, it was around 4,000 milligrams a day. And then they take that number and they divide it by 2, and they call that the upper tolerable limit. So the upper tolerable limit is 2,000 milligrams a day. So let's go back. Government says the minimum is 90, but they phrase it as what you need. Linus Pauling says, no, minimum is really 1,000. And he says the easiest way to find upper tolerable limit is bowel intolerance. In other words, when you start to have diarrhea, that's when you're taking too much and you just need to back up just a little bit. And that's what he considered a excellent amount. And with some people, that's 5,000 milligrams, and things like that. And then, but the government feels that 4,000 or 2,000 is the upper level. So when you start taking higher levels of vitamin C, what can you see? Now, this call is being recorded, so I have to carefully phrase my language here so I don't get in trouble. It encourages white cell production. And what does that mean? Well, white cells typically help you with infections in your body. And if you have enough white blood cells, your body becomes more efficient. It's also an antioxidant, which works basically in the same way, and it assists your body in getting rid of free radicals. No matter what you do, I guarantee your body will have all free radicals. There's no such thing as a clean enough diet where you're not going to see it, because you get free radicals from what your body functions are. You'll get free radicals from the pollutants that are in the air or in the ground that you absorb, let alone some of the foods that you eat, especially if you like processed foods. And so increasing your vitamin C helps with that. It also is very beneficial for people who have skin problems or any other connective tissue problems. So, we can talk about pathogens in your skin and the connective tissue that makes it work more efficient. We can talk about joints and inflammation. We talk about tendons. We could talk about your veins and arteries. All those things, as well as copper, especially in that area, are significantly improved by increased amounts of vitamin C. Now, how do I phrase this? The government doesn't say that vitamin C helps colds. And I can honestly say vitamin C will not prevent you from getting a cold. But I can tell you, if you go to pubmed.gov, you can see research that shows that it will shorten the time. It shortens the time that you see the side effects or the reaction of vitamin C. So I can feel safe that you can say that. And there's lots and lots of products out there that talks about put vitamin C that tastes kind of like Tang in a liquid and drink it, and it helps your immune system and all that. And so same thing with our products when you look at them and the amount of it. And I mentioned about tendons and what's up. The other big thing, and we used to have an ointment for your skin. I'm not sure on some of Michelle's products. She might still have some vitamin C in some of the ointments, but vitamin C also helps people have scarring. It helps the scarring tissue not develop. Yes, Becca.
So there is a product for men and women that you can add to your put on your face, and it makes a great primer underneath our makeup, and it's the waterless vitamin C.
Mm-hmm. But if you have a person that starts to develop a little scar, I know that women, if they have a C-section, they don't want to have that line going across, and so they can work on that to help reduce it. I don't think it will totally go away. I think that would be unfair to do that. I had a hernia that when I was a volunteer fireman, they told me I had to get rid of because they were scared I'd hurt myself dragging hoses around. And so I had a minor surgery that does that. And you really can't see the 3 spots that they put in my body to take care of that. So I can see that it is beneficial in that. It's also very good with people that are under additional stress. It helps protect the cell from free radical damage, which is a lot of the cause of stress. It combats chronic disease, as I mentioned. Skin, I mentioned. Now I'll throw away my cheat sheet on that. Supports cognitive function. How many of you have been giving your grandparents vitamin C? How many people have you been giving your host like me vitamin C to help me with as I move on? And it promotes eye health, especially in the area of cataracts. Did I say that legally? So if you have that person that has that challenge, recommending any increased amount of vitamin C is a great thing to do. So if you have low levels of vitamin C, levels of vitamin C, these are the symptoms: fatigue and weakness, irritable and weakness. Karen thinks I always have low pulse of vitamin C. Irritation and low moods, muscle and joint aches, poor appetite, and weight loss. Maybe some people want that. If you're severe, you start to get little tiny pin size red and blue marks on your skin. And that's probably the first one that really shows when you're starting to get severe vitamin C deficiency. The other thing is that your wounds start healing a lot slower. You can start to think, that used to be a 1 week scab and now it's a month scab. And so maybe I might want to try some more things. People that have corkscrew hair, in other words, it was straight hair and then all of a sudden it turns corkscrews with it. And I'll toss in this: a lot of women, when they have children, their hair changes drastically. That's not a vitamin C deficiency. But if all of a sudden my hair all of a sudden starts to get curly, that could be a cause of vitamin C. And then rough or scaly skin can be a sign of severe vitamin C. As far as oral health, your gums will start bleeding a lot more and you'll start losing teeth. So there you go with the other question, how can I help a person that has teeth? We usually recommend things like liquid glucogel and things like that, adding a larger dose. When I say a larger dose, I'm talking about 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C. AJ, what's your question?
So, a couple things. Pharmacist Ben always talks about, and akin to what you're saying on one part, he talks about vitamin C deficiency as being like subclinical scurvy, talking about gum disease, deteriorating bones, potential heart problems, blood vessels, skin issues, obviously. And just general aging as not having vitamin C. But then he also, on a different note, talks about vitamin C that you use topically as being the one that should be fat soluble. So like palmitate,
Palmitate?
and another fat soluble version of vitamin C as being preferred when you're using it topically.
Okay, so yes, I agree with Ben on certain things. When anything is fat soluble, that basically means that in the fat part of your body, it can store any excess and pull it out as it needs it. I think if you started to use orally and you did day and night, you pretty much would have the same effect. Whether it's ascorbic acid, whether it's palmitate, whether it's buffered or any of that. The biggest challenge on ascorbic acid, even though it's a relatively small molecule, is getting it to be mixed with a carrier that will carry it through your skin. And I'll tell you, there's a trick that Ben probably would agree with me, is if you took ascorbic acid and mix it in with our plant-derived minerals and shake it till it's dissolved and then spray your minerals on your skin, you probably absorb more because the plant-derived minerals are actually designed with that. In fact, one of the other common things that I didn't mention is that if you get way too much vitamin C, your skin becomes sensitive and you'll actually get a little bit of burning. So that's another sign. Other parts is heartburn and upset stomach that we've talked about that, as far as swelling, esophageal problems, stomach cramps, headaches, and with some people, kidney stones. And so I think vitamin C is one of those areas where there's so much difference between the minimum and the maximum. Working towards the minimal is a great way. One of the challenges, if you noticed a long time ago, if you're an oldie, we used to have a lot more copper in our selenium. And we found out that, and we had copper in the liquids, and we found out that some people was taking 2 or 3 ounces of liquid and was taking 10 tablets of ultimate selenium, and they were getting some pretty heavy duty upset stomachs. And it really wasn't the selenium that was the problem. What we figured out, it was the copper that was the problem. And that we then changed the formula. This is probably 22 years ago, and reduced the amount of copper that we put in the selenium product, not the liquids, but the selenium product. And we cut it in half. And then when people were taking multiple ounces of everything, the combination wasn't getting you an upset stomach. If you were taking a vitamin C supplement and our liquids and other things, you could get too much vitamin C. And so we just ask you to do your due diligence. I saw a question in the box asking me, why did we stop selling the chewable vitamin C's? And so in general, Steve Wallach has one philosophy. If it doesn't sell, we don't try to sell it. And so we didn't sell enough vitamin C. It was sitting on the shelf. It was no longer fresh. And Steve didn't feel good of selling it. And he really didn't want to buy nutritional products that just sat on the shelf. And so that's why a product goes away. And in general, we can say that true about all your products. And if you want to see it come back, you just have to get enough distributors to do a little mail campaign to Steve Wallach saying, we would like to see vitamin C come back. Is there any way if we promise to try to sell it? Because with multi-level marketing like we have, we're the salespeople. And if our customers don't hear about it, I guarantee they won't buy it. But if they hear about it, and a good best example I can think of is the Good Herbs line. It almost totally went away. And I want to say that was about 6 years ago. And there was enough of the senior distributors, me being one, and Dr. Joanne Conaway being another, it says, you can't get rid of this product. And Steve says, you got to sell it, or you got to convince that the manufacturer to make smaller batches so that we can rotate it faster. And I happen to know the manufacturer of that product, had a relationship with him for about 35 years. And I convinced him into making smaller batches for us. And I told Steve, if he had anything that got to within a year expiration date and he didn't feel good about selling it, I'd buy it back. And so he decided to go ahead and bring the whole line back. And we've started talking about it a lot more, the benefits of the Good Herb products, and it's selling much better. And now I don't really have to worry about buying the product back because it's gone way before it's even close to it. The nice thing about Good Herb products in general, since they're alcohol based, they will last quite a bit longer than most of the nutritional products, but we still put an expiration date on it, even though we don't have to, but we do. So let's see now, what else was I going to mention about vitamin C? The biggest reason for me to tell you to take vitamin C isn't because it's good for your skin, even though healthy skin helps with infection. It's the ability of it to be part of a program to be an antioxidant in your body. We're in such a world where stress can come from so many different directions that I'm convinced that that's one of the problems that people have. And I'm going to say this out loud, and you can throw rocks at me, especially women. When Karen and I talk, she made the comment that women have a tendency to be multitaskers and hold problems inside them more. Men have a tendency to go out and hunt and get rid of everything and just goes off their shoulders like it's nothing. And women seem to remember everything. And so that being said, women seem to have more stress, in my opinion, than men. And so having antioxidants like turmeric, vitamin C, grapeseed extract, and all the other things to attack free radicals is a very, 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 very important part of what's going on to help prevent premature challenges to men and women, but especially women. I think, it used to be in the old days, the majority of the women stayed home and took care of the family. It seemed like about 2 generations ago, maybe 3 now, where it became more important for 2-income families to start popping up. And the scenario of someone else raising your children, whether it's a family member or a daycare center, seemed to create more challenges. And I think the other thing too is that many years ago, we used to get married at a younger age, and we used to work things out better and got to know each other and became friends and had earlier families. I think now that the average marriage is pushed out about 8 years and the average time to have children is pushed out even farther, I think that's also one of the main causes of some of the defects that's occurring in children and whatnot. I think our bodies, women's bodies, were meant to have children from 25 to 35. And now there's a lot of women who are having children in their age 40, but they're having trouble getting pregnant. Well, we need to kind of figure out what's going on with that scenario and try to figure out what's going on. And so I think vitamin C is extremely important. I wouldn't make a multivitamin that didn't have vitamin C in it, period. I think that'd be a waste of money. And so that being said, I talk too fast. And we have lots of times for questions. And I see that there's already people with their hands up. So,
Yes.
Becca, I'll turn it back to you.
Well, don't go away because I'm sure this person has questions for you. And first, we're going to go to Keely. Go ahead and unmute yourself, Keely.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Go for it.
How are you, dear?
Fantastic.
I got a couple questions for you. Given the fact you were talking about the Good Herbs products, was there ever a time when there was a CEO pack built in and around like the Healthy Brain and Heart pack that was offered?
With good herbs in it?
Yes.
I don't recall one off the top of my head, but it doesn't make sense that we didn't come out with one at the very beginning. But there again, it's going to run into that scenario. Did we sell enough of them? And it might have been caught up in that scenario when the whole line almost disappeared. That disappeared, just never came back.
Okay.
Also, I'll make one other quick comment about good herbs. Remember, good herbs are herbal products, which means they're
Correct.
plant medicine, which means you primarily use it for a shorter period of time to overcome the medical challenge that you're having. It's not like a dietary supplement where you need to eat it with your diet and have it on a daily basis forever.
Correct. It's meant to upload to support the body for a short period of time, based on whatever else is happening. Understand that.
Well, so if I gave you 14 different good herb products, I think a lot would be on your shelf, hopefully for an extended period of time.
Well, I was sort of thinking like if it was something like that had to do with like congestive heart failure, then you could basically build, 3 or 4 good herbs in and around that. Or the other idea would be, how do you build allow us to build the actual heart pack in reference to whatever issue that we need to address. Because there's a lot of individuals that I'm running into that's like, they don't like the BTT, they don't want the liquid, they want to be able to pick the pieces that they need in order to go in that pack. So that was just sort of a particular concept to think about. Has the company ever made an assortment of travel pack in powders instead of just the on-the-go pill pack?
So we have almost all the BTTs in various powders and individual sachets. But to be honest with you, and don't take this wrong, AJ, I'm going to take the pole out in front of my face. I don't know if I can. Anyways, here, I'll scoot over here. So
You're fine.
when I go on vacation, like I'm going to be gone for a month, I'm not going to take a month of 20 different pills, which I normally take, but I will take on my travel. I will take mineral caps. I will take the BTT tablets. I will take my turmeric, which is turmeric. I will take my EFAs, And let's see, I'm forgetting one, I'm sure. Oh, and I'm going to take my selenium. And for when I travel, that's when I take with me. When I come back, I'll come back and be on everything. But I'll take those with me, which is a reasonable bag. My pill bag is probably 6 inches by 6 inches by 6 inches. And then I actually put all my pills in individual per day packets.
Okay.
So is it like the package that you can get from Longevity? Yes, but I customize it.
Okay, gotcha. Just two quick other questions. One is, do you have a recommendation in reference to extra copper if somebody wants to take it, sort of like a colloidal silver, but have it in copper? Do you have a recommendation for it other than selenium?
No, and hopefully Doc isn't on this call today. Sometimes I don't want to feel like I'm a salesman. And so if I think that someone will get a mass benefit of a nutrient that we can't provide, so we don't have anything that has a 2000 milligrams of vitamin C in it, then I'll tell them, look for this, ascorbic, various ascorbic acid products or copper products. And then I'll say, if you can get it attached to an amino acid or amino acid chelate, your absorption rate goes up quite a bit. So I'll help them find a product outside the Longevity line, but that doesn't happen very often. Longevity's done a pretty good job of being able to cover anything. But if they have a standalone product that they want, Longevity's never designed products for a standalone nutrient per se. They always try to do a nutrient blend to overcome a particular challenge. And
Gotcha.
so you don't find just vitamin C very often, or you don't find just copper, because the majority of the people don't have that. But we have other things that can be beneficial that is in combination. And they get the beginning amounts in our complex nutrients, and that is a good start. I've also found that you don't need a lot of an individual nutrient when you have a total balanced package. And one of my big challenges with the FDA is for them to accept a nutrient being beneficial, they want to see research studies on just that one nutrient. And a lot of the times we talk about the 90 essential nutrients plus extra glucosamine is great for your joints. Well, if we wanted to get a health claim that said that, we'd have to do a health claim just on the glucosamine, and they'll say there's insufficient science, so we're not going to give it to you.
Gotcha.
And that's how they get around that. And so I'm a firm believer of the 90 essential nutrients. I think individuals with their challenge, a long time ago, I came out with a sunflower with petals on it. I actually get to take credit for it. And what I did when I did lectures out there is I put up the flower without any petals on it. And it just had the 90 essential nutrients in the middle, and we talked about it. And then I had all the petals stacked on the side. And I make distributors come up and say, I have a cold, what would you recommend? Or I have joint problems, what would you recommend? Or I have cardiovascular problems, what would you recommend? If I was an athlete, what would you recommend? And they would put the petals of the flower on the sunflower. And it was a great way to teach people and show people how they can customize our products by taking the baseline plus a couple of things.
Excellent. And then one last one, and this is just something that I've been wondering. When there is a product revision and or a product change to any of the formulas, is that actually put out anywhere so that if we see a difference in a client with using something, we know actually what that potential change or variation would be? And that's my last question. Thank you.
No, typically not. And I'll give you an example that I'm getting feedback right now a little bit on, so that they've changed the manufacturers of BTT 2.0. And one of the proprietary things on any of the flavoring packages is that they're proprietary to the manufacturer. And so if we have another person make it and their their flavoring is always going to be a little bit less. Some people think that BTT tastes different because of the flavoring. It's actually, we used to use brown rice that was GMO organic out of Canada, and we went to a tapioca organic powder for that instead. And I think that might have a difference. I actually had a great conversation with a lady for about 20 minutes earlier today because she was concerned that it would raise her blood sugar. Excuse me. And I didn't think it would. So she promised that she would take the product and get back to me because she was going to take her blood sugars 20 minutes after she took her shake that she was putting 2.0 in and see if she got a spike on her blood sugar. So next time I come on back on my vacation, I'll give you an update on that.
Fabulous. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. AJ, next question.
Well, we have a real question. Becca, I'm going to bring in that one question from Rumble.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, so the question from Rumble is, how much of a difference is there between taking Tangy Tangerine in the pill, liquid, or powder form? And then my question was, as a result of what you just said, is the manufacturer of 2.0 the 2.5 manufacturer? Is that what happened, or?
2.5 and 2.0 are the same manufacturers now.
And because okay.
So the dirt of the situation, because you want the dirt of the situation. The original manufacturer had trouble sourcing some of the products, and they started to become late, and we didn't want to run out. So it was plan B was to get a alternative source and not dependent on one source. So there you go. 2.0 will probably always be my favorite, but that's personal preference. And I've mentioned that before. And that being said, what was the first part of your question?
Difference between liquid, tablet, and powder.
So liquids will always absorb in your body because it's already started to break down process within the making of it. Powders will be the second fastest because we're able to mill the powder up finely and it dissolves quicker in water. Tablets are uncoated tablets are the next best thing, or capsules, because it doesn't take long for your body to break them apart and the acid in your stomach to start to break it out. Coated tablets, such as, I guess I can say it, One A Day or Century Plus, they have such a thick coating on it, you can literally absorb them and they'll come out in the same shape when you get rid of it. And so therefore you don't get any benefit from the vitamins that's within inside of it.
Okay, you keep opening cans of worms. Okay, but just to focus on the particular question as it relates to tangy, the differences, the three forms of Tangy Tangerine, are there the same amount of probiotics in the pill form? Are the same amount of, are you getting the same thing if you get the pill versus if you get a powder or a liquid?
No, the pill has a little bit less in it. And the primary difference is trace minerals. And one of the big reasons why I mentioned on my travel pack that I take a bottle of trace minerals in there is there isn't as much minerals in the tablets. And there is some other different things. I mean, we could bring up the supplement fact panels. We can compare it side by side, or all your customers can do that online. There's some other variants because it's literally a mass. How much can we put in a pill? And how many pills are you willing to take for a dose? And believe it or not, people start complaining if we have more than two. And so we try to eliminate it, but the liquid is still number one. The powders are still number two, and the tablets are still number three.
Oh, liquid is number one over the powder.
Yes, it's not as strong as an antioxidant, but you'll absorb more of the nutrients within it.
Okay. And then, I'm sorry, Becca, but okay, just get into this one. It says 2, but there's 180 in here. Should I be taking 6? Okay. So when you talk about taking so many pills, okay. All right.
So
And
let me take a step back though. Remember one time I brought up the book of the guidelines of what we can say on a label and all that kind of stuff? We
yes,
talked
yes,
about
sir.
that.
Yes, sir.
The government wouldn't accept us putting 6 tablets on that label.
But I do see there's 180 tablets in there.
Yes.
So I can do
And
math.
so if you listen to Doc do it, he'll always say, always look at our count and look at how many are in the bottle. And that tells you how many I think, because everything should last a month. So like if you have cardiovascular problems and you take Ultimate EFA 180 count and EFA plus, which is 90 count, he's saying you need to take 270 in a month. Now you're nodding your head. So you got to remember, longevity isn't a medical institute. We're not a pharmacist. So we don't have total freedom on what we can put on the label as the amount to be consumed. But a doctor or a pharmacist can make suggestions about our product, but we can't print it on a label.
All right. I'm going to let someone else ask a question. And I very much appreciate you always coming on and making things clear for everybody.
All right. Thank you so much, AJ, for bringing in questions. And folks, if you're out on any of the platforms, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook or Rumble or anywhere that you're seeing us, X, Instagram, LinkedIn, make sure you follow us. Also make a comment in the comments. Let us know where you're at so that we know where we are reaching the most. We love to see people interacting with us, as we do have individuals, including myself, that keep an eye on those chats, whether it's live or off the air. So, Richard, we have another question coming in.
Can I toss in for just a second?
Yes.
Because I'll explain something about it. So in our anatomy of our skull, the blood enters the back of the neck primarily, goes over the top of the head, takes care of the brain, comes down to the bottom of your chin being the last spot. All right, so color is a tin deficiency. If you notice, I'm 70 years old. I'm not gray on top, but I'm gray here. So that means the tin is enough here, but my cranial region is it's not here. So if I were to increase my tin by quite a bit and it was absorbable and I got in my blood, I start to darken up here. I really don't care. I'm not in that way of my life where I care if my beard is gray or not. But you can also see in my mustache, I got a little gray, but I really don't up there unless you trim my hair and then along the side.
Yeah.
So that kind of shows you about minerals and how they work in your body. Go ahead with the question.
Okay, well, thank you for pointing that out. So here would be another question. If you've got your plant-derived minerals, you've put it in a mister or a spray bottle, you're misting your skin, it's going to absorb. And with there being trace amounts of copper, tin, everything, all the elements, then there's a chance that it has helped, right?
Well, there's a chance. Will it change my beard back? I don't know. But what I will do for you is I'll take a mister on me, and for the next month, I'll spray my beard every day.
Okay.
And we'll see what happens when we come back in a month. I doubt if there's enough in there to make a difference, but I'll do it for the experiment for you.
Perfect. Thank you, Richard. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Michelle, go ahead and unmute yourself. What is your question today? And thank you for joining us here on Daily with Doc.
Hi, this is great. I really enjoyed this. I have been taking the longevity products for about 2 years now, and I had to have some blood work done, and it came back with one of them was high vitamin B, which we know there's a lot of vitamin B in the longevity products. Is that a concern I should have, or anything? I take the Rise and Restore, I take the Beyond Tangy Tangerine throughout the day, and then of course the EFAs. And hair and nails. That's about what I take.
So I have a question for you. Can I ask what your age is?
58.
Can I also ask, in your family and the women, is there bone density problems?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay. Um, when he said high levels of D, are you on the
No,
upper side of what he likes, or are you way above it?
I'm sorry, B, not D.
Oh,
B
B
is
is
in
in
boy.
baby. Oh,
Yeah.
I wouldn't worry about it.
Okay, that's what I was hoping you were going to
Most
say.
of them are not fat soluble, and your body will take as much as it wants. It will go out in your urine. I suppose your urine is extremely yellow too, even though you don't need to answer that because it's personal.
Yes.
But it's one of those things where when you have lots of vitamin B and supplements, it typically will turn people's urine yellow.
Okay, I just didn't know if I needed to back off on any of the products or take something else to balance it.
No, I think you're fine.
Okay, well, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Michelle. Great question. And the next question is coming in from one of our Zoom attendees. Terry wants to know, are the colors of the Ultimate EFA dark brown? And I want to know, is the color difference between Ultimate EFA and Ultimate EFA Plus so that you can tell them apart? Or is it the nutrients within it?
It's
Tell them apart.
literally to make it easier to know which one's which. And that being said, without the turning it brown, we actually put a little bit of coloring in it. And we just don't think we want to make a blue for Prohobo Omega or something like that. We talk about Corey Gold making it yellow like Plus because that's his formula. But that being said, we just basically did it for separation because some people like me pour their pills out on their desk in front of them and take them throughout the day and just knowing which one's which.
So the darker of the essential fatty acids, the soft gels, is the Ultimate EFA, correct?
Correct. And the EFA Plus is gold
Is
with
gold.
no dye.
Yes. Wonderful, wonderful. So now here let me go through. Okay, so whenever it comes to hair color, Josh has read the book, Rare Earths Forbidden Cures, where copper is mentioned as being one of the nutrients that support gray hair. So is it a combination of copper and tin?
I assume when you mean support, you mean the opposite of support.
Well,
Make it
the
go away.
deficiency would
Yeah,
support
deficient.
gray hair,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So is copper in the bunch too? Yes, but I found in my experience, hair loss and color is a little more on the tin side. But there again, we're going to see if just spraying my face will do it. Of course, the people
Okay.
I'm traveling with will think I'm kind of strange, but that's okay.
Well, no, if it's hot and you're misting, you're misting.
I'm going
You're
to
the smart
Scandinavia.
one.
I'm going to Scandinavia.
Oh, yeah, it's not going to be hot there, I don't think. But
I start in Iceland.
okay, okay. It'll be pleasant. We're just going to claim that for you right now, Richard. Okay?
Okay.
You're going to have a pleasant trip. And let's go to our last question of the day. And Rod, what question are you bringing in today?
Well, I have a quick two questions. Michelle Griot, she was saying that she takes the Rise and Restore and the Tangy Tangerine. Is that an overkill for how many nutrients she's taking for the vitamin minerals? That's my first question. And the second question is between the Pro Cardio and the Ultimate Daily Classic, is that a good offset for the Ultimate Daily Classic? Because usually you have to take like 6 or 9 of those, and is a Pro Cardio a good replacement for that?
So your first question, she's taking Rise and Restore
Restore.
and a BTD powder.
That's what she said. If
As
I'm
long
correct.
as you have to work with her on her weight, not that she's heavy or anything, but making sure she's not taking too much because you have 90% overlap there. And so You know, if she wants to do it because she's going to take a scoop and a half because she weighs 150 pounds and she works it out that way, then that's fine. But they overlap too much. And then the second question on ultimate daily and cardio, you want to split those and take a total of 6?
No, I was saying usually when Doc recommends the Ultimate Daily Classic, he recommends like 6 a day. Can that be replaced by the Pro Cardio?
Pro cardio doesn't have all the vitamins in it that ultimate daily. So I would say no. I would say if you want to cut back to 4 and 2, you can do that.
For Ultimate Daily
Yes.
and 2 Pro Cardio?
Yeah.
But
Because they have
budget-wise, what would
different
you take?
ingredients.
Budget-wise, what would you prefer for somebody trying to offset blood
I'm going
pressure?
to tell you, the closer you get to 90 essential nutrients, the better you are.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That's a nice way to put it. The closer you get to the 90 essential nutrients, the better you are. And that's why Dr. Wallach says 90 for life. So awesome, awesome, awesome. Thanks so much, everybody. Go ahead and stay up here, Rod. We can get the rest of the co-hosts up on the screen. You know, Richard, you've got a team that work with you. Does it make your job easier working as a team?
Absolutely. You know, everyone will always have a better business when they have a partner they love and cherish and work with.
Absolutely. And when you have more than one, that's even better.
Absolutely.
So I just want to do a shout out to my co-hosts as they are part of the team, the Daily with Doc team, but also a team within Longevity. Just want to do a shout out to Rod as he's bringing in questions from out on the different platforms. Thank you, Rod. We have also Sherry. She's part of my tech crew helping to set up the stream. So as we go live, it's being broadcasted out onto the different platforms. Thank you, Sherry. We have Albert letting people into the live Zoom, as yes, we do have a waiting room, so that we can get everything set up before everybody just starts showing up, even when they are consistent about showing up an hour early, which we absolutely love you guys for all of your consistency and dedication to learning and being a sponge. We also have Albert. Oh, I said Albert at the waiting room. We have Marilyn again. She is here in the chat, putting up information that's only available in the chat here in the live Zoom. So folks, if you're watching one of the replays or watching a live stream, but not in Zoom, and you want to catch what's being shared in that chat, you want to make sure that you email us zoom@dailywithdoc.com and request access to the Zoom, and you'll be able to catch her wonderful work as well. Thank you, Marilyn. And we have AJ, who is my digital marketing director, who has been very instrumental in getting us on all the different platforms. So thank you so much, AJ. And he's responsible for putting up the poll, which Richard, I'm the only one that voted for Tangy 2.0. Everybody else is going for 2.5, Rise and Restore, which, I mean, I like them too, but when you ask what's your favorite, I gotta say Tangy 2.0.
That's okay.
So
I love you all.
Yes, we love you all. We love you all. But other than taste, you mentioned that you like the 2.0.
Mm-hmm.
Is it the taste, or what about it is it that you like the most?
Because it's my creation, basically.
Well, you know, you were brilliant in
It's
putting
kind of
the
like your
pre and
children.
probiotics.
It's kind of like your child.
Yeah.
It's my first. Yeah.
Well, you added in that gut support in there with the pre and probiotics.
Well, my big challenge, and we're going long here, but it's okay. As long as you take them right. Yes. I'm a type of person where you better put it in front of me first thing in the morning or I'll forget.
Oh, see, I make mine and I drink it all day long and it's gone. Which, yeah, I got to start early or I'm taking it at dinner time and I'm wide awake at midnight. So, well, thank you so much, Richard, for all that you have done in creating some amazing products that have been able to, that have allowed us to be able to make solution recommendations with confidence. And that's one thing that I absolutely love about the longevity line is it delivers what's on the label is what's inside the canister, the bag, or the bottle, folks. So get back with the person that shared this program with you, as this program is for educational purposes only. It is not meant to take the place of your primary care physician, nor is it meant to treat, diagnose, or cure any disease. But folks, when you give the body what the body one created with from the beginning of all humanity and keep it going, the body itself can do some amazing things. So if you want to do a U-turn on a health journey that you're not liking the way it's going, U-turns are welcome. So again, get back to the person that shared this program with you. If there's no one to thank, you would like to speak with a certified holistic health coach and you've never tried any of the products, you've never spoken to anybody about longevity or Dr. Wallach, pharmacist Ben, feel free to give our call team a call, 855-949-3377. Again, 855-949-3377. And I think maybe he's just trying to earn brownie points, but Rod says he can't believe that you're 70.
I know. I was going to give him a hug next time I saw him.
Well, and that's a nice thing about this whole thing is we're all family and we do lots of hugging. So folks, if you want to hug, become part of the longevity family, get involved. And tomorrow we're going to have pharmacist Ben on. So make sure you join us once again from 12 to 1 p.m. Pacific, 1 to 2 Mountain, 2 to 3 Central, 3 to 4 Eastern, by going to Zoom at dailywithdoc.com, request your access, and we look forward to including you on the success stories or in the success stories of what the 90 essential nutrients can really do in the body. Until next time, my name is Becca Dukes. Thank you so much for joining us here. Thank you to the live audience and the participation that was there as well. And we'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now. Welcome to Daily with Doc and Becca. This program is for educational purposes only. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual sharing their testimony. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have a founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach. Welcome to Daily with Doc and Becca. This program is for educational purposes only. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual sharing their testimony. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have a founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach.